Thoughts about this week?
Okay, you know, it's getting to be about that time. We're getting anxious, getting ready to tee it up. This first game, you always put a little extra time in. We needed it. Didn't have the best of practice on Wednesday. We felt like we had a great Tuesday practice. Came back with just an okay practice Wednesday. We had a good walkthrough today. Guys seem to be more dialed in, and you know, we'll continue to sharpen up and get ready for this opener.
Questions?
Well, you guys announced your 8 captains today. It's a lot of guys you've had over the last 2 years. What does that say kind of about your leadership on this team now that it's expanded to that point?
Yeah, it is. You know, sometimes you wish it was a little more clear cut, you know, and a lower number, but it was, you know, there was a couple guys with really high numbers, and then there's a lot of guys that are very much the same, you know, so it says a lot about continuing to develop the leadership, and we need it, and proud of those 8, and really proud of a lot more. These guys are doing some good things, so you know, it is what it is for me. Sometimes you wish it could be just 2 or something, or 4, but it is, you know, what it is.
Is it different going into a year when you know very little about the opponent you're about to face?
It is a little bit. It is. We've had to really be prepared for a lot of things, and that's just it. In any opener, you know, you have to be prepared, you know, for the unknown. People have a long time to run different plays, different formations, different fronts. I mean, that's just common, you know, for us to try to be prepared for all things. It's a new staff with the opening game, so we have a lot of film from the history of these guys, but I would be crazy not to think that there wouldn't be some new wrinkles, you know. So
Terry Allen's been kind of dismissive of their chances this week. Is that, how do you take that? Are you gamesmanship, or?
doesn't matter to me. You know, we're going to be prepared. That doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. I'm sure we'll make mistakes in this game, but we're going to make them going fast.
How do you guys balance maybe getting all the reps that you need to with all the guys and running the plays and with the new offense, and also maybe not showing everything to Missouri for the next week?
Well, we won't have enough plays to run all the different wrinkles we can do. So there's always in our game, I mean, us coaches sit up here until all hours of the night all the time drawing things up, but you know, you are who you are, and they know that. They know the basics of what we are, and as we understand the basics of what Louisiana Monroe can do with, you know, but with that being said, I mean, it doesn't matter to us whether they come out in 4-3 or 3-4, man. It doesn't matter. You know, and offensively, I'm sure there'll be some wrinkles. Rich Rod's very creative. I have a lot of respect for him, and he'll have some good plays, there's no doubt.
When you're talking about pass defense, I'm not talking about the pass rush. Does the front end have more effect on the back end, or does the back end have more effect on the front end? I asked Brad about this, and he said it's a matter of opinion.
That's a good question. I was going to say good question there because, you know, I'll give you a little history. Back in my years at Miami, Tony, I don't remember, but you know, so my first year at Miami, I only had 3 first-rounders, right? I had Ed Reed, Philip Buchanan, and Mike Rump. James Lewis was the other safety. He graduated. My nickel, Marquise Fitzgerald, graduated. So the next year, the reporters were asking me, and everybody was in a panic about the secondary. And I answered, and everybody was like, "Oh, there's a young cocky son of a gun," you know what I mean? But I answered in a way like, "Don't worry about it, we'll be better." And I wasn't silly. We had the whole front back, you know, so the whole front was back. That were dominant at that time. But I did have Antrell Roll and Sean Taylor and Kelly Jennings and some future first-round picks. But I think the reason being, you know, saying that really, I felt like I knew the system better, could teach it better, and the front was dominant. So, but you know, all that being said, I didn't answer your question. Yeah, it's hard. It's tough. It's tough. You know, I think they're equally important. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. I do. I think it's a hard answer because they're equally as important. And you got to say the same thing, team-wise. Yeah.
How important is it, do you think, to
there, get them a lot of reps. I asked Brad about that yesterday. He seemed like, you know, there's not a snap count or anything on.
There's not, but they'll be out there. They have to be. So they'll be out there, and they'll be out there when the game's on the line. You know, whatever that is. You know, so you know, we don't know how these games are going to play out. So they're going to play significant snaps, and they'll play early.
An ideal situation, you'd like to get Bo out there as well, if it happens.
Again, if it happens, of course.
Yeah, is Liam going to be on the sidelines?
Yes.
The other day you said that you were kind of going to let him do his thing. Does that still go?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's not going to change. You know, there's going to be times. I mean, there will be times when, you know, that obviously, whatever, it's going to help Trump, whatever. But absolutely, he's going to run his offense. He's going to call the plays. I'm not going to be on there calling offensive plays. I can promise you that. There's always going to be situations where he'll come to me and say, "What are you thinking here?" You know what I mean? And there'll be communication. Those are in critical moments. It's hard to say what those are, John. There's so many different situations that happen in games, you know, that it's almost impossible to just label one thing or another. But there's communication on the phones all the time. What are you thinking here? Are you thinking 4 down? Are you thinking run and get out of here? Are you thinking, you know what I mean? So that communication will never stop. But he's the offensive coordinator calling the offensive plays.
Who plays kind of the eye in the sky there?
He was waiting too.
We asked Liam the other day what he'll be looking for Saturday from the offense. What will you be looking for?
I'll be listening, and I'll be, you know, absolutely listening and making sure the procedure's going good, and you know how, you know, confident, quickly plays are going in, how quickly and confident the players are comprehending those signals, those plays, making sure we can function clean. That's what I'll be looking and listening for.
More operation type
Yes,
stuff.
exactly.
Who's kind of the guy upstairs for him to kind of have those eyes in there?
Woody would be up there and have a lot of his eyes up there. Yeah, big picture ideas. Scott would.
Mark, can you clarify on the Scott Woodward? When exactly did that switch make? And what was your?
I don't remember exactly when that was, John. I don't want to be caught like I misquoted you. I don't remember exactly when that was, to be totally honest with you. But it was a decision that we made.
What can you tell us about the reorganization with the chief of staff position?
Just you know, talking about Dan Brezowitz, I just want to say how much I appreciated the work that he's done here for a long time. He's a guy that works really around the clock, sacrifices a lot of his life to this university, and greatly appreciate Dan and the work that he did for us here. And you know, that's really all I want to say as far as the reorganization and personnel and all that.
What can you tell us about Scott Woodward? I mean, just as if we've not spoken with him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Woody has some experience with Liam and with this offense, and they think a lot alike. So, again, that was the idea with the big picture ideas that could get some eyes upstairs and help.
I don't know if we asked earlier, I can't remember. Jones, is he progressing? Is he expected to be available?
Yeah, he's been out there practicing. Yeah, so he should be good.
Anyone else? Josh Pascal, three-time captain. I mean, just how impressive is that?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Really, it's hard to quantify the sacrifices and the things that he's done for us. It'd be underselling him. I mean, he's really a remarkable young man. He really is. And it's been that way. I've told you that. You know, we've talked about it. I remember recruiting him. I remember when we had talked about him in the recruiting press conference about how matter of fact he was. That was the words I was using. Was he was just what he says he does. And you don't always see that from young people or anybody. And Josh is really an amazing human being. He really is. Just prepares every day to the best of his ability. Works at practice to the best of his ability. Goes as hard as he can. He truly empties his tank every day. And if there's any one thing, there's times when his rehab, like slow down, just let your body heal. And you know, I got to make sure that's a good point. I better keep my eye on between now and Saturday. I'll be trying to get some extra. So it's just how it is. You know, he's just an amazing human being. He really is.
Mark, J.J. Rivers said he's got to lose weight with Jordan right about who's going to get the first sack. Doesn't mean he's going to start. You can't.
I'm not going to tell you all that, Lonnie, but
Well, I mean,
J Dub might have an advantage there. All right.
all right.
Thanks.
So
All right, folks, thank you very much.
Still be careful with them a little bit here. Thank